G'day, ZiggyD here, and today I want to give you guys my Guild Wars 2 First Impressions review. Hopefully I have some insightful things to say. The background footage is a collection of my play over the past 2 days. I think I finally settled on a character and class, which is not what I thought it would be at all. I always end up playing thieves or archers, but after playing a few I ended up settling on a Char warrior, which is completely unlike me. So far I've found that dual axes and the greatsword are super fun to use, and the longbow has its moments as well. The character that you'll be seeing in the background is mostly my Char warrior, who is named ZiggyD Glidefrog. He is ferocious, dignified, and an all-round badass. I'll start off with the controls and combat mechanics because these are what make or break many games. Right at the start I hated the controls. The way you move the camera and control your character in combat felt super clunky, and melee felt almost impossible to target. Also, pressing 1 or double clicking to start attacking felt super weird to me. However, I changed the keyboard layout a bit and maxed out the camera sensitivity, and things felt a lot better. After about a day, melee combat began to feel fun, and now I'm having a blast whirling through enemies with my greatsword. If you are starting out with the game, I highly recommend spending at least an hour getting your controls and settings perfect for you. It improved the game for me 5-fold over the default settings. There is enough demand for it. I may go through my settings later in another video. Let's move on to how you get around the world and do things, because this is basically what an MMO is. Getting around the world and doing things. Map and questing design is very Moorish, despite suffering from what I call the slow walk speed of MMOs. When I played WoW briefly, I was frustrated with how long it took to get to the next thing to do, and watching your character fly over zones for a couple minutes was painful, however beautiful it may have been. Guild Wars 2 does two things very well for someone like me who prefers burst gaming. Keep in mind that I'm primarily a StarCraft 2 and Diablo 3 player. Firstly, Guild Wars offers fairly well placed teleporters for instantaneous travel at a price. Players who want to save money can suffer, or enjoy, the slow walking if they choose, but players like myself can fork over the copper to use a waypoint from anywhere on the map to almost anywhere else we want to go. I'm more than happy to pay money to do this to save time. It's a great mechanic. The second thing that Guild Wars 2 does to combat this slow walk syndrome is that major quests and events are never more than a minute away, and there is always a breadcrumb trail to follow between each one. These breadcrumb trails are a real secret to what makes Guild Wars 2 a winner for time-sensitive players like myself, and it's what makes the game feel so Moorish. You can always literally see another copper vein to mine, another tree to chop, or another mob to slay. And then, before you know it, you're in the middle of another quest. My missus and I keep joking that saying, "I just want to mine this next copper," actually means another hour of play. Next up, compared to other RPGs, the inventory management system is both rewarding and unobstructive. The highlights being automatic banking of crafting resources and different bag types for customized layouts. This really meshes well with the breadcrumb trails of things to collect for crafting, since you never have to make the decision between collecting resources or keeping space for loot. Clearing your inventory is always just 2 clicks away. Walking back to town to drop off your crafting resources always felt painful to do, as I could feel it eat away at the gaming time I could be using to have fun. I could see why that was there from a balance and realism perspective, but that didn't change the fact that it felt painful to do. It seems like ArenaNet have found other ways to balance the crafting market, which I imagine I will learn about in time. For now though, it feels good to collect materials, so that is a positive for a first impression. I suppose that leads into crafting. Crafting is both interesting and rewarding enough because your character benefits a lot from doing it. Besides your actual gear that you craft, which is often an upgrade, you're also leveling your character by doing so. I particularly enjoy the discovery mechanic, where you combine resources and parts using your own logic and trial and error to find new things to make. This is a lot of fun, and as tempting as it is to look up recipes on the internet, I think I'll avoid it for a while simply because of how fun it is to learn them for yourself. Guild Wars 2 still suffers from the reverse economy that most MMOs seem to suffer from, where raw materials are usually worth more than finished products. I dislike this from a personal point of view, but it's not a huge issue for the game and I doubt it will bother many people. I also can't speculate on the high-end market where things that you craft in the higher levels may be worth a lot more. Finally, I'll just touch on party play. I haven't tried PvP yet, but level scaling in PvE is a brilliant mechanic. It's really needed for me to enjoy playing this game. I hate having to keep a separate character for playing with each friend. In Guild Wars 2 I can take my main, travel to my girlfriend's starting zone, and join in with her storyline questing, regardless of what level we both are. It's simply brilliant. Well, that's it for my very first impressions review. I've had a few 3 AM nights already and I'm sure there's many more to come. I'm thoroughly enjoying this game so far and I've easily gotten my $60 worth of value. If you watched my previous video, I said that there was very little risk for me in buying this game because of the single payment model, and I think that's very true. That's it for today. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.